Hey, Rick.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, Rick. And again, thank you so much for this partnership. Really excited to be here with you on this inauguration. So I wanted to use this time for a good Q&A session. So the first topic is around market trends. With this entire EV market evolving and along with that, the EV charger market also evolving, what do you see are some of the key market trends that are currently going on in this industry, and what is the future of this industry?
Yeah, good question. I could go on for a long time around market trends and what's driving the industry. But first off, I'll tell you that I'm firmly convinced that the world's transportation is going electric. To be here in India and see the cars with the green number plates is encouraging. If you come to California, you see EVs everywhere. And if you go to Europe, you see even more EVs. On the charging side, there's just so much room for innovation. It is almost hard to comprehend how big this market is and how many adjacent industries it touches and the opportunities to innovate. It is really a big surface area of things we can do. But the most profound part of it is that now with electric transportation, every building on the planet that has electricity is potentially a place that can provide fuel. When you now have the ability as a business or a school or a hotel to provide fuel to a vehicle, you have the ability to offer a new value to the people that come to your place, whether they're coming to work there, sleep there, park there, shop there. You've got this whole new opportunity to create value for drivers and drive your core business. This is going to disrupt our industry, the automotive industry, the retail industry, in ways we haven't even thought of yet. So a lot of opportunity for innovation.
Great. In fact, good point. And we see this industry really booming. There's a lot of investments. There's a lot of innovative solutions, accelerators that HCL is bringing both on the EV side as well as the automotive side. I would say the entire transportation vertical by itself. Right. Mm-hmm. So that gets me to the next question around technology, right? And technology is the driving factor behind, I would say, the entire ChargePoint and the entire growth. So how do you see technology really driving ChargePoint's growth in the coming years, and what are some of the driving trends towards that?
Yeah, so we're a technology company, and we've got a business model that allows us to invest heavily in R&D, because we don't own and operate charging stations and have to invest all the capital to not only own the stations but own or rent the land where they go. We supply our technology and our solutions to people that want to do that. So we are really designed to be an innovator technologically in the industry. And the innovation comes in three major forms: software and hardware. And as I say all the time in this industry, software is going to eat the world and create the differentiation. There's no question. When I go back to the comment I made a minute ago about all these buildings now having the potential to provide fuel to people that they want to come to that building, how all that happens is going to be through software. The other element of software that leads to a huge opportunity for innovation is around energy management. Electricity, now that you can put it in the battery of a vehicle, and now that you can put it into fixed storage adjacent to a grid connection on a site, almost becomes a physical asset that's pretty portable. You can put some in your car and take it with you. You can bring your car somewhere and give it back to the grid, or put it in a fixed battery to be available for someone else's car. There's some fascinating things that you can do with electricity, now having the option to move it between a vehicle, a fixed battery, and the grid, that unlocks some compelling economic models that can really reduce the cost of energy consumption. So that's on the software side. The hardware side, while software will eat the world in this industry, there's still a lot of room for innovation in hardware. And that will continue to be this way probably for as long as I'm around. And Hossein and his team are continuing to lead the charge, no pun intended, around hardware innovation. I think on level 2 chargers, there's still plenty of opportunity to reduce cost, add features, package them differently, allow them to be installed in more cost-effective ways. And then on DC fast charge, which is the charging technology that gets a lot of the attention, the name of the game there is thermal management. You're moving a ton of power through a system, and any impedance whatsoever is going to turn into heat. And if you've got the technology to reduce the amount of heat that's generated with high efficiency and then manage the heat that is generated effectively, you're going to win. This is not easy technology. This is hard. This requires really smart engineers and science to continue to push the boundaries of DC fast charge. And one thing I can tell you is you almost can't go too far until you hit the limit of what a battery can take in terms of how much energy it can take and at what pace. But up until we reach that point, we can make DC chargers faster, smaller, more cost effective, and able to last longer because they're managing their heat so well it doesn't impact the reliability. So a lot of room for innovation there as well.
Sure. No, in fact, that's true. When we see a lot of our customers really, helping, taking benefit of companies like HCL. We have set up multiple labs for our customers, both on the engineering side, software and hardware, globally in multiple locations, to make sure that we are able to kind of drive some of these POCs, some of these thought leadership ideas through our partner ecosystem, and then take this to scale. Right. So I think that's where we are. We are hoping that we can, build this partnership together.
Yeah, we fully expect to take advantage of those capabilities, which is one of the reasons we decided to enter this partnership.
Excellent. The third question with all this obviously is around workforce and workforce agility. I think that's important. My question is, how do you think that you would like to really make your workforce agile to kind of meet the requirements in today's market, and at the same time continue to drive operational excellence, customer service, customer excellence? So what's your thoughts behind that?
Yeah, so a lot of what we've decided to do to not only have an agile workforce, but to grow our workforce resulted in the partnership with HCL. We made a commitment to be a significant force in India from a development standpoint and a customer support standpoint. As we've built out those capabilities here in India, I think it only convinced us more that this is the right place to be. And the bigger you get and the more success you generate from the India team, the more you want to do here. And it got to a point where we were limited by our ability to hire, our ability to find a space like this, for example, because we were a small company with a small presence in India. So finding a large partner like HCL that has your clout in the market, your reputation, your ability to understand how business works throughout the country and the world, and leverage that to help us augment our team with talent and essentially hire faster and access locations like this that will allow us to recruit talented people, because this is a desirable place to work in a nice building, are all reasons why we formed this partnership.
Sure. Great. And in fact, at HCL also we invest a lot in domain consultants, subject matter experts who have deep knowledge. We continue to upskill our talent in new technologies around Gen AI, and also try to find how we can bring good amount of cross collaboration between teams.
Yes.
I think those are some of the important things that we do to make sure that the team continues to stay agile and to make sure they're continue to drive innovation for our customers.
Exactly. I mean, I think you're on a hugely important point. We toured the HCL headquarters yesterday up in Delhi, and it was almost overwhelming the amount of technology and innovation in different areas and segments that HCL showed ChargePoint yesterday in Delhi. And there are clearly little sparks of ideas that come as you walk through those demos and talk to those people that work in those different areas that could very much lead to big innovation within the EV charging industry. I think there's, don't know exactly what they are yet. There were clearly some sparks of ideas that came up yesterday, but as we work together and get to know each other better, and you learn from us about, where the opportunities for innovation are in the EV charging industry, I'm sure you'll start putting more specific ideas in front of us where we may be able to collaborate and bring some real value to our customers in the market.
Absolutely. Looking forward. And my next question is around personalization. I would call it hyper-personalization, right? Especially in an industry where, the expectation from the customers are, pretty unique. And so how do you think ChargePoint would continue to drive this kind of personalization in your current activities?
Yeah, this is a top of mind item for me. And the synonym for personalization in our world today is something Ash and I and others refer to as find a great place to charge. So this is now, again, interrelated with all these buildings now having charging and fuel available for drivers. So I keep remembering this TV commercial I forwarded to Ash and some other people last week that was for Google Gemini. And it's a lady who's at work and she's contacting her husband saying, what do you want to do after work? And she speaks to Gemini and says, I want to find an Italian restaurant with outdoor dining that's, not more than half an hour away. And then Gemini gives her all these, great ideas where they could go together for dinner. If I had added to that lady's list an Italian restaurant with outdoor dining that, is not more than 5 miles away that has an EV charger available, you're on the idea of what we're thinking with find a great place to charge. It's the ability for a driver to express an intent to a system and then have that system create an experience for them that meets their needs. And because I now don't have to go to a place to get fuel, i.e. the gas station, to go to where I really want to go, the Italian restaurant, I now can start to have these kinds of interactions, which I'm very intrigued with the possibilities here.
Yeah, in fact, we've actually built some of our accelerators and platforms around AI Force, some of our AI Force platform, where we have partnered with Google, with AWS, with Microsoft to really drive some of these hyper-personalization. And that's how we kind of take these solutions and accelerators to the market as well. Right? So moving on, the next important question or discussion point is around sustainability. Right? And I think that's, how do you think ChargePoint would continue to drive sustainability for its customers, right? To make sure that you're meeting expectations of your customers as well as for your OEMs.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's, kind of core to what we do is we're front and center in the mission to make the world a more sustainable place. And, yesterday, understanding more about HCL at the headquarters visit, I was pleased and impressed with HCL's commitments and actions to improve sustainability. That whole campus is fully LEED certified, and the things you're doing there are really impressive, and they align with, an underlying key mission to our company, which is to mitigate global warming through the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions from transportation, which are about 25% of the greenhouse gas emissions in the world are from transportation. So if we together can make significant progress reducing that, we're obviously going to make the world a healthier, better place for our kids and our grandkids and the generations of the future. And if you take a moment to look at what's gone on in the world with, extreme weather events just in North America. I'm sure you saw the stories about the horrible fires in LA or the hurricanes on the East Coast, and things like this are happening around the world in extreme ways that they didn't when most of us were younger. The world's clearly changing, and the faster we take action, the more impact we can have to stop those changes from affecting, again, our lives and future generations. So it's a very important mission for us. It's a very compelling mission, I think, I hope everybody in this room and a lot of people who live in Bangalore that may be interested in coming to work here. I talked to a lot of candidates that could go to work at Google or Apple or Microsoft or some big giant tech behemoth. And I asked them, why would you come to a smaller company like ChargePoint? And the answer almost always is because you guys have a mission in your company that I care about. And it's important to me to help heal this planet, and I want to be part of a company that's doing that. So it's a big advantage for us when it comes to recruiting people to either the HCL part of the team or the ChargePoint part of the team. I want people on this team that care about the planet, because it may get you up 5 minutes earlier, you make work a little bit harder, you may stay at work 10 minutes later because you've got that drive deep down inside to do something more than just build a technology company, but actually impact the planet.
Well, very well said. In fact, I think you have a great partner in HCL who really focus big time on sustainability, across the board, right? In fact, the things that you saw in Delhi yesterday, and we in fact create several solutions platform. We spoke about our EV service management platform, which really can monitor, measure, drive analytics to see how we can reduce various requirements around carbon footprint and various other measures that are very critical to measure and manage the entire sustainability initiative. So great to hear that, Rick. We spoke a little bit around technology and the role. One important question was, how do you see this as a differentiator? From a ChargePoint standpoint, right? How do you see technology as a differentiator for you?
Well, I mean, again, it's a technology space, and technology is by definition, differentiated through advancing that technology. So, whether it's software, creating hyper-personalized real-time driver experiences, or it's hardware that's just bigger, better, faster, cheaper than anything the competition can do, innovation is going to drive it all. That's what's going to create the winners, and the folks that don't do so well in our industry is who innovates the most. One of my favorite quotes that I really look to often when I got this job, under circumstances that weren't ideal, right? The company had a difficult patch. The board decided to put in a new CEO. I was offered the job and I accepted it. There's a quote out there that I always look to that says, changes in leadership can only do so much when you're trying to turn around a company. The only real way to do it is through innovation. Which is why we've invested so heavily into our hardware engineering team, our software engineering team, our presence in Bangalore. A space like this, a lot of it really centers around, commitments to innovation in the technology that's going to create the winners and the losers. And again, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of innovation happening in the customer support side as well. So it doesn't just mean products, it can also mean services, because unlike a smartphone, you don't just go to the store and buy a charging station and take it out of the box and you're off and going. It doesn't work that way. There are a lot of services required to take a highly innovative charging solution and actually get it in the ground fed with electricity in a way that it can charge vehicles and provide energy to cars and great driver experiences.
Yeah. No, in fact, I love the quote where you spoke about how innovation is going to be key, right? In terms of how you can differentiate yourself in the market. And I think we work very closely with our customers to really bring those thought leadership and innovation, across the entire value chain that we work for them. My final question to you, obviously, this it's a very relevant question, and how do you think ChargePoint is going to use some of the new immersive technologies and Gen AI solutions to really drive innovation? I think that's something that's going across various across in various solutions, various areas. So how do you intend to bring some of these immersive technologies?
How long do you have to talk, right? I mean, again, the thing that's interesting about EV charging, and I mentioned it a while ago, is that the scale of this industry and the adjacent industries that it touch is unlike anything I've experienced in my career. Right? This is the entire world's transportation system and all the vehicles that are in it and all the energy that fuels those vehicles and all the places they go. I mean, it is a massive market. And the potential use cases for AI is absolutely too long to list.
Yeah.
I think the challenge for us is, there's never enough resources to do it all. We're going to have to be very, very good at choosing what not to do.
Right.
And being very smart at picking where to put AI to work, where it's going to have the biggest impact in the fastest way possible. So we'll be very thoughtful about it. I mean, we're doing obvious things like, writing code with AI and improving the efficiency of our developers and, using it to generate content and perhaps interact with drivers in real time. But I think there's a lot more opportunity beyond some of these obvious ones that other people in other industries are using that can create real differentiation. And I look forward to partnering with HCL on discovering exactly what those top priorities might be.
Sure. And we really look forward to bringing some of our platforms and solutions, around AI Force and our, AI Foundry AI Labs, which we believe can, help bring some very thoughtful, innovative ideas and see how we can scale it up, right? So it's not just about bringing or implementing some of these POCs, but more and more of our customers are now starting to scale this up to the next level. So that's probably where we would like to build the strength of this partnership.
Excellent.
So, yeah, that's it from my side. So it was a very thought-provoking conversation. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.